Hey, Tony, thanks for joining today. It's really exciting to have you here. I'm very excited to actually share some of my knowledge with you today on how to get your brilliant ideas off the ground. Do you want to say a quick hello and introduce DMG Bin to everyone?
Oh, Dash, thank you very much. It's really delightful to be with you, and thank you so much for liking this project enough to want to help me. Just to explain, DMG Bin is actually a schools debating competition for schools in Britain and schools in India. So the GB is for the Britain and IN is for India. And DM refers to debating matters. It's a wonderful schools debating format that I was involved with many years ago, both running a national competition in the UK for 300 schools and in partnership with the British Council in India, a national competition in India for about 300, 400 schools as well. And it was an amazing program, which unfortunately was stymied by the financial situation back in sort of 2010 and wasn't able to, to continue in its existing form. During lockdown, I was still in contact with many teachers and friends in India who all said to me, Tony, come on, we haven't done debating matters for so long. Why don't we try it over Zoom? And I said, yeah, hey, what a good idea. And we did it as a pilot tournament last year over Zoom. We had more than 20 debates between British and Indian school students. We had a wonderful array of judges from both countries. And the wonderful thing about debating matters is that the judges are part of the debate. They probe and challenge and question students about their arguments to help them dig deeper and reflect more carefully on the issues at stake. So it's a delightful format, and we found that it worked perfectly on Zoom, and suddenly we could have all these debates between British and Indian school students.
Absolutely. And Tony, that's what has impressed me most about your idea. We connected what about 4 days back, and ever since we've exchanged so many messages. But it's simply because I'm really impressed with firstly what you're doing, as in the impact it creates straight away. That's the important bit. But the second bit is how you have actually used the COVID adversity and seen the brighter side of it, revived something which was kind of going to die its death in and use technology to actually enable it. And all of that resonates so well with what I'm trying to do through smalloutside.com. Because to me, it's if we can use technology to create positive impact to our world, then I think we're doing the right thing. So that's the reason. In case you're wondering what's wrong with Dash, why is he on his emails and texts constantly trying to support me? But that's the only reason I'm. Apart from, of course, the excitement of the prospect of judging one of your competitions in December, but that's really what it is. And what when we started, if you recall, we said, Tony, that's a brilliant idea, but why aren't you online? And that's where these conversations started, didn't they?
Very much so. Yes, absolutely.
Right. So today, Tony, what we'll do is, and you are not the only person in this boat. There are so many individuals there with such brilliant ideas, but one of my bosses used to say in the past, they used to say, Dash, you're a silent ship in the night. So, and to me, honestly, that stayed with me. And a lot of people are in that boat. They are the silent ships in the night. Brilliant ideas, great enthusiasm and passion.
Mm,
But
mm.
if you don't let the world know about it, there is no way things will move forward. As in, they will, of course, but at a very different scale. Now, you
Sure.
are trying to create a global impact. So, as a person from the technology field, I can support you in whatever way I can with getting your ideas off the ground digitally, at least. So, what I'll do today is. There are various platforms these days, and if there are paradigms there like low code, no code, I don't know if you're aware of these, but
I had a little read up yesterday after your kind email where you told me about WordPress and Wix. I work at an FE college, and I discussed briefly with some of our ICT tutors, and they had also mentioned Wix as the as a very easy to use model. And so, thanks to your email, I did read up yesterday,
yeah,
and I was getting the idea that for my initial purposes and keeping it straightforward and quick and fairly simple, that Wix might be a good option?
I think it would probably be, I concur with you. So Wix, I'd say naughty, but it is very capable, frankly. And there are others, by the way. There is Squarespace. There's lots of other platforms which do these very PowerPoint style, put blocks of text or images here, there, and everywhere, and then they take care of the rendering and everything. They also come with a lot of built-in functionality. Now, in today's demo, some of it gets enabled only when you go to a paid subscription. But what I'll do is I'll take you as far as we are allowed to, so you can see Wix. But what I'll also do is show you WordPress very briefly, so that you know you're making an informed decision. Yeah.
Okay, great.
So shall we? Sorry, do you have any questions before we get started?
No, the only thing I would just make you aware of is that my ICT skills are that of a tutor, if you like. I'm a maths tutor. We've been using Zoom and things like this for teaching recently, but in terms of HTML, other than copying and pasting something in the right place, that's as far as I know.
And you're not alone, Tony. So as in a few of us have taken technology as our career option, but not everyone has. So I'm fully cognizant of that. What I'll do is make sure I'm advising you from the perspective of getting your idea off the ground and not make technology the focus, if that helps. So if something doesn't make sense, please do ask, because anyone viewing this video offline will probably have the same question. So let's keep it interactive. I've set up my screen so that I can, let me see if I can share my screen here. It doesn't. Okay, I'm going to share the whole desktop. So for a second or so, there you go.
Okay, got it. Yep, all good.
So I've got a test account created here. We use it for all testing purposes, and we'll use this for today's demo. Let me start. Firstly, let's go to Wix, because that is likely to be the better option for you, Tony, seriously. So when you go to wix.com, there you go. That's the interface you reach. And of course, read up everything there is to read up about it. Let's quickly cover the pricing, because there is, if you go down Wix, there is a commitment that you are getting onto.
Yeah. Can you just very briefly, because in terms of something like what I'm doing, you'll obviously need some storage space. I understand with alternatives, you would need to pay for hosting somewhere. So,
Yeah.
so I will need to, and I'm happy to make a financial commitment.
Yeah.
The VIP rate looks a bit pricey for what I'm doing at the moment.
Yeah.
On what basis should I decide?
So let's look at it. So of course, they've got all these things here. You definitely want a custom domain. So that's the minimum you want, right? Otherwise, you get something, your dmgbin.wix.com kind of domain, which is okay if you're doing some fun stuff, but for serious stuff, you want to do that. You don't need the free domain. You've already got it. This one will show Wix ads. I don't think that you would like it, so you need to go one up. So that's the combo. The storage and all, you're not really going to use a lot of storage, because most of your content is going to be on YouTube somewhere. So I think this plan could be enough for you. But let me show you the business ones, because there are things there which you will probably want. And I don't know whether you will want it. By the way, there are other things like professional logo and all. I personally, my view is they're not necessary, right? Because you can do the logos in many different ways. But the business plan gives you something more. Now, the reason I would suggest this is I don't know whether you have any intentions of taking payments, things like people who may want to register. But again, that's an option. You may not be looking for doing that. I don't think you need customer accounts. I don't think you need any of that. What you need is, actually, I tell a lie. I'll have to see if they have Ascent in personal. So let me, can I come back to this question? Because if
Yeah,
I
of
show
course.
you some things, it will make sense. Otherwise, I'm reading stuff which will not make sense.
No,
Yeah.
okay, that's absolutely fine, of course, yeah.
So
So there's options there.
yes, yes. These are the options. Now, if you went down WordPress, if you were self-hosting, let's do a WordPress comparison. I rate SiteGround very highly. Now, that is SiteGround
Okay,
for WordPress press hosting. If you look at their plans, this is starting at $299, but bear in mind, once the first year goes, you'll be paying $11.99, and that's also purely for the hosting. And then you have to build the software on top of it, and then all the work relating to, and you may have to buy some plugins. Again, there are lots of plugins there. Again, I'm throwing a lots of concepts at you, Tony.
yeah, the
But
plugins, perhaps I just check my understanding. It is an additional piece of software that allows you to do something that you wouldn't have time to or expertise to create yourself.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
and
Yeah,
they may be free or they may be paid for.
correct.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. Now, when I'm showing this, one of our deliverables through smalloutside.com is to actually build a platform for individuals like you so that all of these barriers go away. Now, what we are doing is we've already started working on it. It's not quite ready, and given your project is literally getting off the ground soon, uh, we can still help you, but it may be a separate website. So you go to something like this on a small on website. Oh, why don't I do this? If I fire this up, because it does take a few seconds to build it.
Sure.
We go to SiteGround. Let me just accept all these cookies. So you go to SiteGround. Once you go past the page that I just showed you, make the payment, you end up coming here, right? Now you go and create a new website. So you say create website, and for the moment, now this is because I'm using my other one. So it won't let me because this is not my admin account.
Okay.
Uh, okay, I'll park that for now. Yeah, let me park that for now because
Sure.
otherwise I have to go to different screens. We'll focus on back to Wix. I think
Okay, that's fine. So I do. I mean, I have to say, lots of people have spoken to me about. My wife had a WordPress account that somebody or website that someone created for her,
yeah,
and she then used and administered, and she was very happy with it.
yeah,
But I have to say, as you say, I am at the point where I really want something in place very quickly.
yeah,
And that my understanding, if I'm correct, is that if I establish something on Wix for now,
yeah,
and if in 6 months' time maybe I've developed some skills or I've found somebody in my community of volunteers that has the skills and wants to do it,
yeah.
in 6 months' time I could switch over.
Oh, easily, easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So shall we focus, given that's not going to let me build, and maybe I can set up a separate session for WordPress. But if we focus on Wix today, because
Great.
there's a lot to explore within Wix alone, right? So let's go with this process. I'm going to say sign in. Of course, I need to first sign up. I've got a test account here, so I'm going to say continue with Google, and it's integrated there. So it should let me, if all goes well, create an account in Wix. Right, there you go. I'm just going to get started. Those are things, and by the way, I'll send this recording to you, so you don't need to make notes. But let's
Thank
say
you.
I'm building, what kind of website am I building? Demo. Yeah. So, okay, it doesn't like that. Let's call it debating if they have.
Ah,
The debate club. Look, they've
well, there
got.
we go.
So, and then it will ask you what kind of features do you want? Do you want chat? Do you want events? Now, in your case, I think both of those are very valid. I don't think you need online store or groups. Um, Maybe not booking forms. I'm just thinking, is there anything here? I think that looks like a good set. Now, this is what Wix does really well. It makes it simple for you. Now, just to put a thought out there, if at some point, because your project will need funds, and if you say, you know what, I'm going to do some t-shirts, t-shirts that people can buy to support my work, you could very quickly enable an online store. Now, not now, but you can do it later as well, right? So you don't have
Okay.
to do anything. But I'll keep it on just to show you what that could look like.
Okay.
And it's a good idea to think of merchandise because clearly there are lots of people supporting your ideas, and they may be interested in a DMGB t-shirt, right?
Or a mug. We
Or a mug. Yeah, yeah,
my daughter mocked up a DMG bin mug for me last year and gave it to me as a birthday present.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, but you could enable people like us to support you by buying your mug,
Yeah.
right? That's an option there. Now, what does it say? Have you created this before? Let's go with that. This is my first time, so it'll do a bit of hand holding for us. Now, you can answer these questions here, and it will create the website for you. Now, I find it slightly frustrating because being a person from the technology field, I
Yeah.
like doing things myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll go down this route if that's okay.
Okay.
And at this point, it will give you all these different templates that you could choose.
Yeah.
And I tend to go for the blank templates. Now, that's again because I like a lot of pain. But
Yes. Yes.
more than pain, I think it's the level of control you can get.
Yeah.
So I would start from scratch, as you can see here, and I say edit. At this point, it's going to do some magic.
Can I just check with
Yeah.
the template whether you do it going down the painful route or maximum control route, or
Mhm.
whether you adopt somebody else's pre-formatted one?
Yeah.
Is that a choice that is subject to you can change it subsequently, or are you making a big commitment at this point?
I think you're making it upfront. So this is where WordPress and all start winning slowly, because with Wix, at least from previous experience, now I've not used Wix for over a year now, but it used to be that once you committed these styles, then if you had to unpick them and change them, it was hard work. So
Okay.
a lot of bloggers used to typically say uh, it's a challenge shifting things later. But if you do these blank versions, then you can, I think you can still pull in templates, right? So at this stage, I think your first question is going to be, damn, I'm not a designer. Where do I start? How do I go about it? So you could go and do a good old Mr. Google search, say design templates for websites, right? So
Okay.
that beautiful design. So look, we can go to Squarespace, and even Wix, by the way, has its own templates, but you could go and look at something. Uh, let's see if they have a demo somewhere. But the point here is to avoid wasting time, I'm going to go use the images view. And let's say, just for argument's sake, that is what we like, right? That's the best
Okay.
website we could have ever built. And we love this, for example. Where did
Yeah.
that go? Yeah, let's go with this, right? Now, if that's what you want to build, you should be able to build most of it in, of course, there will be some, I'm going to look, yeah, that picture we were looking for. So if you wanted to do this, you can do this in Wix easily, right? There may be some things Wix doesn't do or does do. So let's try and replicate this, yeah?
Okay.
So the first thing I can see is it's got a black background. So you go back, let me just make sure I'm toggling easily. Let's close that. That's our YouTube video, which will come to the moment. I do struggle with tabs sometimes. So let me pull it there. Right. So the first thing you would do is, and bear in mind, I've not used this for some time, but you'll
Sure.
get the idea. So change page background. So you click there and say color. I know that design that I want is black, right? So
Okay.
yep, that's done the job. Now you can see that it's already feeling like PowerPoint. In fact, probably better.
Yeah.
So then you see there's a logo out here. So you go back to your editor and say somewhere here, right, let me explain the concept here. So on the top, you see
This is the header.
the header. Yeah, exactly. That's the footer. And anything you put in the middle is, of course, the body that keeps changing based on the page you are on. Whereas this and this will remain constant across the website.
And is that constant throughout your whole website or constant throughout a subsection of the website?
So this is constant throughout, although I'll have to check if Wix allows for page-specific headers. You can program it a bit if you wanted to, but I think then we get into complex.
Okay.
For the first launch, version 1 of your website, you could very simply have a header, have a footer, and then the content is what keeps changing. So, and also you see the lines on either side. Those are really saying if you stick within that, you will be good on most browsers. That's what it is really trying to.
Okay. So what happens with the space either side of the dashed lines? Is it filled with stuff that is non-significant? It doesn't matter if it shows, or you just leave it completely blank.
It's a design decision, so you can put it here, but what it will do is this part on a smaller browser will come closer. Right?
Okay.
So as in, if you look at the small outside logo, now this wasn't built on Wix, but that part, we've gone full width. Now, if I change the dimensions, let me just show you how that is done. Now, I don't want to make a programmer out of you, but I have to use certain tools here. But there you go. So that's a responsive design. Now, if you see what is happening here,
Yeah.
is that part is sitting there, but this content is fitting somewhere between those dotted lines that you saw on Wix.
Yeah.
As I go, if you see the content in the center is not moved, but the moment I go past a certain point, which is somewhere around now, the content starts moving in. You see?
Okay.
So that's what will happen. So if you put stuff on the left and right, it will not have any effect till you reach the minimum width that is needed for wrapping the content.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you can choose. Modern designs these days go full width. Most people go full width these days, but again, it's an individual choice. Again, at this point, what I would say is keep to simple ideas, right? Now, this is where you will see it's a toolkit where you get lots of things, and I'm probably sure you can find header there. Horizontal menus, maybe not. Menu. So impressive site menu. Look, so you can find these kinds of things you can add to the to these different parts. But for the moment, I don't want to scare you off. So I'm going to do some simple things, and I'm going to say I want to add. You've not got a logo yet, have you? As in that's
I do, yes.
Oh, you do. Okay.
Yes.
But if you had a logo, you just go there and say, I'm going to upload. I wish I'd taken an image from you before, but what I'll do is I'm going to upload the small outside logo right now, and I'll go to image library, latest branding kit, and let's say it's not SS logo gray. Let me maybe white I should have taken. Because we've got a black and white screen. Let me upload another one. But you see how easy it is. You're getting content onto the server literally in a few clicks. You don't have to do all FTP and all that kind of stuff, which you keep hearing otherwise. So there you go. So those are the logos. So we'll use the small outside logo as a placeholder. Does it allow me to use? Sometimes it doesn't like SVG files. SVGs create this.
That's an interesting point. So in terms of files, what would you, in terms of images for upload, which would you recommend?
As in, I prefer SVGs.
SVG.
SVG, yeah. It's a scalable vector format. Now that is light in light in size and super sharp on, you can scale it as
Oh,
well.
okay. I've seen that. Yeah, I was just checking because where I've done, I mean, I won't pretend it's anything exciting, but where I've created a logo and
Yeah,
I've started to create some imagery that I might use on the website,
yeah,
I've done it. I've tended to do it in PowerPoint because I'm comfortable with PowerPoint,
yeah,
and then I can save it as save the total image as a picture,
yeah.
which I would normally do as a JPEG. And I haven't heard of SVG, but I see in PowerPoint there is a SVG format,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's the one you would recommend.
It is because that is much sharper, and that's all a conversation almost in its own right, actually. But these things are most likely SVGs, which you can add. I'm just looking for why am I not finding? So it says logos and badges, but why does it not let me? Maybe I have to do this, right? And then I have to go where is site files, and then I have to choose mine. And then, as in, once you know how to navigate, it sometimes, of course, takes a little while. That's interesting. It okay because mine is a transparent logo. If we keep it for now, just in the interest of time,
Yeah.
maybe I can change it here. Right, because my logo was not designed for this background. Um, I'm just going to give it one more shot.
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
Site files. I'm sure I picked up this. It didn't like it. This one won't work. Let me try this again just to make sure. Yeah, it is. It doesn't like it.
Okay.
What I'm going to
So
do.
site files, sorry, site files, are they files that you upload to Wix? Is it files that you want to access whilst on Wix?
Yes, that's right. So if I
Yeah.
go to site files, the things that are uploaded are in site files, and then you can also get media from Wix, which we will use in a second as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So let me upload it, upload a different one, which more likely is going to work. I'll use the PNG version of our. Okay, this one is because we use SVG everywhere. This is the icon of our coin. So we have our own crypto coin as well.
Yeah.
So I'm going to. Why did it not like that? So go back, logos, more logos and badges, site files, select that and add to page. It doesn't like it. Okay, I think I'm going to stick to this and add to page. It's fighting with me today, so I'm not going to fight
Don't
back.
worry.
There
Don't worry.
we go. Right, but what the point here is, I don't know if you can see clearly, but the point here is I can now take this image and make it big or small in a matter of drags and drops, right?
Okay.
Now, that's the beauty. That's what I wanted to really impress upon you, that if you had the logo in, of course, the correct format, and you wanted to stick it there, you will see it there. Now, if you want to see what this looks like on a mobile, you just click the mobile browser here.
Oh, okay.
It carries a mobile, and look what it's done. So I'm going to skip this for now. But if you see here, the logo's got here. Now, I may not like this idea. Now I say, oh, actually, I want it on this side, and I want the shopping bag on this side, and whatever there was here. Choosing a black background was a bad idea, Tony, but stick to that. So that is how easy it is. And when I go back to my desktop, if everything's working well, that's still in the same format. You know what? Just for
Yes. It's okay.
sanity, I'm going to get this to white so that we can see what is happening there, right?
Okay.
That's
That's
much
better.
better.
Yeah. That's better.
Now I can say actually on my full screen version, I want these things to go here, and that's how it will look. End of, right? But
Okay.
my mobile, I want it to look like this, and maybe I want the menu on the left-hand side, and ooh, there we go, and that there. Job done. Now this
Okay.
is brilliant. Now, of course, that logo looked small. Let's make it big. But you get the point. As in, I'm not trying to design the website here, but you
No,
get
you could spend a long time changing things and adjusting things, couldn't you?
You can, yeah. And to be honest, when you are starting off, one of the things I'll tell most people or everyone who has a brilliant idea is we all are so passionate about our ideas that, but quite often we've not necessarily thought it through to the nth level of detail
Mm, mm.
to be able to debrief someone. So in an ideal world, you would, because you've got many other fish to fry, so you would say, actually, you know what, Joe, go and do this particular site for me. But Joe now needs a very clear brief, which sadly, because you're still at early stages, you may not have the right answers for Joe. So Joe will end up soaking up more of your time. So sometimes actually having tools like this to use them as thinking boards as well to say,
Mm.
what do I want my site to look like? Oh, I want this logo to be bigger or smaller, or I want it on the left hand side or right hand side, whatever your vision is. But this enables you to think it through, but also build it at the same time and not have to have prolonged conversations with Joe, who, poor thing, is just asking for clarity and you don't have
Yeah,
it.
sure.
Right? So to me, these are very important factors to consider when you're starting off. So uh, in fact, we are on version 7 of our website, and even today, I'm still doing a lot of things myself because I just find that it's so much easier to think the concepts through when I'm working through this. So a very important but subtle point to make there. Now, here's the footer. Let's put a footer. Now, I want to show you something. What I showed you so far was really dropping a control, but you get entire templates there somewhere. Contact forms, strips, right? So strips is where you'll get stuff. So if you look at, you see these different strips,
Yeah.
testimonial, so on and so forth. So I'm just looking for something that looks like a footer. Content manager, contact form, social, list. No. Again, in interest of time, you will find something which has the footer and the menu and everything. But what I'm going to do is very simply put a contact form in the footer because that's what we want to do at this stage.
Okay.
Yeah. So now what you've got here is a footer with a contact form, which will appear on all the pages, right? And then your main content is here. Yeah. And again, this is not
Okay.
a design effort by any means. It is simply trying to get the concepts
So
across.
that's using a pre-existing template that's divided it into two even columns,
Yes.
and then you would amend that template yourself
Yeah.
to putting in whichever imagery you wish and your own contact details, etc.
Exactly that.
And
Exactly.
then in terms of the submit and the various social media logos,
Yeah.
is it straightforward to know how to point those so
Oh,
that
yeah,
they?
yeah. Everything is here. So if you look at, so you'll find some, I think, is it tools, rulers, grids, lines, layers. As in, they've got some brilliant tutorials as well, by the way. So if I'm misguiding you on anything, you're probably better off looking at that. But if you look at this, let's say you want to know how to point to your social media icon. So you say set social links, and then over here it will say add a link. This one,
Okay, perfect.
and then you just do that. So you,
Yeah,
yeah.
great. Dead
So
easy. Yeah,
once you've done that, yeah, exactly. And that's the beauty of this. You can add icons, as in this is just the most common ones. I don't know why
sure.
I keep showing G plus, uh, but you can go and choose all these other platforms. And again, if your style is gray, you can go for that. If you want black, you can go for that. If you want colored, you can go for that. So you may be a blogger. If your audience is sitting in blogger, you can add that, and looks a bit ugly from a design perspective, but you get the idea, right?
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
can choose what you want to do. Likewise with forms. Now you will have people who we want to contact you. So you need a contact form. What this does is it simply gives you a way to submit. You can go into settings, enter contest, and then email notifications. You set your email, which is here, and that's it. So job done. So you will get a mail. If I now, let's just do this. So I should get a mail on testsmalloutside@gmail.com. And maybe on submitting, it says, thanks for submitting. I want to say, we like the word, you are awesome, right? So there you go, job done. And that's
Okay.
all it took in order to configure this. Now, of course, I can do lots of things around it, but let's take it for a test drive now. At this stage, it looks very, very boring. Of course, I'm going to stick an image just to make it a little more interesting for our benefit.
Okay.
I'm going to go for image collection, free Wix
Oh,
media. And
are
let's
you
say,
showing me this? Something's happened. I seem to have lost your image. I can no longer. I must have. I'm back. I'm sorry. I must have inadvertently clicked a tab. Sorry.
okay, no worries. But do you see Wix and the cursor moving right now?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Right, so all I did was I went into this body area. So that's the body area. And I've clicked the image, and this is where I'm going to say I want to use a Wix gallery. So image collection, Wix provides is in the Unsplash. There are lots of other areas you can use, and you're doing debating. So let's go for debating, and hopefully they will have something which has something to do with debates. Look, that looks like a good image. Nicely multicultural, aligns to what you're doing, and you say, that's my image, that's what I want to show, right? And then you drag it, job done.
Okay.
Go back to your mobile and just make sure that looks fine on your mobile version. Oh, that doesn't look right. So what you may say is, yeah, I want to do just focus on that crowd over there and maybe crop it. There must be a crop there on mobile. I don't know if that I'm doing some of these things without realizing what I'm.
Yeah. No. Sure. You
Yeah,
haven't necessarily done it all of this before on here. Yeah.
yeah. But now I've applied. So on mobile, I don't want it to go outside, but I didn't want it to be tiny. But on the desktop, let's see if, yeah, it's held the desktop view and the mobile view. Yeah. So it's done these two versions for me easily. And let's leave the sofa there because that may be okay for your thing. In fact, let me show you the full screen version because that's
And the images on Wix, are they set to certain proportions that mean that they work well for the website? I guess what I'm asking is, if I preferred to get an image from somewhere else, I found a better image somewhere else.
yeah.
Is there a way of knowing what the specifications are that
No,
that
no,
will work well?
it's no, there is no difference. So if you went to Unsplash, let's say Unsplash, yeah, unsplash.com, we use this a lot, and then you go and say debating, and then let's say you're very impressed by this particular image because that looks more natural, and you download the free version, and it gives you go for the large. That's downloaded product school, and you go to Wix. So you do exactly the same thing, but this time instead of using from the library, you would use, I'm just thinking, let me create space for it. So I'll go here, go to my uploads, my image uploads, and of course we've not uploaded it. Go there, upload from computer, go to downloads, get the product school thing. It will upload it. It will optimize it as well for you. So there you go.
Oh,
And
okay.
add to page. So what it's done is it's brought it, but at this stage, you can, just like you do in PowerPoint, you can say, actually, it's not the right proportion. That's what I want. You go and crop it.
Yeah.
So you say, that's how I want it. Part of the person's head needs to be chopped, and because it looks nice in this format, let's say. So you would do that. And yeah, that's
Okay.
it would
Great.
take that, and once you apply it, it's taken care of it. So no, you can use literally any image that you've captured, even sessions you may have had, in-person sessions, or yourself meeting other judges, for example, over a
Yeah.
coffee. You want to capture those images. So yeah, absolutely, anything will be okay.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so I'll get rid of this for now, but you get the point. And I say publish at this point, and a few things will happen. first, of course, it's not a paid subscription. So it gives you option to say test small outside.wix.wixsite.com. So this is the free version.
Okay.
So you can go straight to the site and you can see that it's ready for us with, of course, the little banner here, which is promoting us to get rid of it.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Brilliant. Yeah.
this for such a brilliant service, I don't think they're asking for much, to be honest. So, but you see the idea as in how easy it was to go
Yeah.
from a very simple. So I'm going to say done for now, and I'll go back to what was the URL? Did it leave it there? Yeah, it's left it there. So now if I show you the same thing in a mobile version, which is what we want to say, if you say I say I want iPhone X, it's done the iPhone X version for us.
Oh, wow.
Now, clearly something's not looking right here. The
No.
font's gone on the right. So you should be then able to go into the mobile version in Wix, yeah, and say something didn't look right over there. Oh, look, it's looking right here, but not there. So there's something not quite right. And then you'll get into some funny things like that, which you can at that time reach out to Wix support. They are brilliant. They're absolutely brilliant. I don't know where they're based. I think they're globally spread. So
Uh-huh.
call anytime, and I've used them almost for an hour on the call. They'll sit there patiently explaining exactly what to do.
Okay.
They say, Tony, click that thing on the left, or Shad, do you want me to do it for you? And they do such great handhold, honestly.
Brilliant. And that's regardless of which program, which subscription you have.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. You may even want to test their approach to customer service on the free version, because that would really tell you how good they are, right? Because if you're on a paid version, and you, of course, get good service. But what my experience has been is, of course, I've been on paid versions before, so I don't know if they differentiate, but certainly they are superb. They're absolutely brilliant.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Now, there is complexity here if you ever wanted to get into, but what I'll do is, in the interest of keeping things simple, that's what we have now, right? And if everything is working and if the free version allows for it, let's do this test with, I'm going to get rid of this. So that's our website. Someone, in fact, if you go to this site from your browser, you'll be able to access it, right?
Okay.
Because it's now live. And over here, if I say, um, I'm just going to say Joe blogs and joe@blogs.com. I wonder if this is a real email even. Hello, and then when is your next event, right? If everything is wired properly, Joe sent this message to us. That's come. It says you're awesome, and in our inbox, there's a message which says, "This is welcome from Wix." Let's see. There you go. So Joe Blogs has sent us a message. It says, "When is your next event?" And you can respond to it from here. This is where it becomes fun, right? So you click here and say respond. It takes you into Wix, into an area called the customer service, so the CRM system.
Okay.
Over here, you can now reply to, ooh, if I reply to, it will end up with, if that is a real email ID, it will end up in somebody's inbox.
Okay.
But you see what is happening here. You've come into, let me go easy on you, Tony, because I'm throwing a very new concept at you. So far, what you've done is built your website using the tool here.
Yeah.
Yeah. You hit the publish and it created a version which is now visible to the world.
Yes.
Now the world wants to talk to you. They want to start submitting their forms. They even want to chat with you. Look, so they may say, "Hey, Tony," and then they hit the send button. So that's great. The world wants to talk to you, but you need to talk back to the world. So this is where,
Okay. But one question I have here is the advantage of a form over providing an email address.
so what's the advantage? I guess if you put emails, generally spam bots will go through it and they will start spamming you because people farm emails. I don't know why they do it, but they seem to love putting spam in people's inboxes.
Okay.
So if you declare it, and there are ways around it, you can use JavaScript to kind of um, avoid spam bots from reading it. So there is stuff you can do there, but I don't think it personally doesn't matter. As in, I keep my email open to the world, and I say I'll let the technology sort the spamming issues out. So you can do both. You can say over here, what you could do is, let me just close this. You could very simply say contact us by email or fill the form below, and then let them fill the form. As if you're not on an email client, for example, then you won't be able to respond or submit the email, but the form is always there.
Okay.
So there are those kinds of benefits, I guess, and I guess the form you can guide it a bit more. If you wanted an additional question here saying which event do you want to talk
Okay. Yeah.
about, so
Yeah.
it allows you that extra level of control and routing the form the way you want it to. Uh,
Great.
versus in email, it's really going to be free form. People may not give you the full information that you are requiring from them, for example.
Yes, this is. It's very interesting. I suppose from my own personal experience, I sometimes find the form off-putting.
Yeah,
It feels a little controlling. It feels like I'm having to do something on somebody else's terms. Maybe it's just
yeah,
my
yeah.
peculiar personality, but
Yes, but you could do both. So you
yes,
could do the email and the form. The email, I think, has a barrier in it because you then have to go past the clicking the email link, go into a mail client, and then send
yes,
it.
yes, yes.
So this just gets the user one step closer to talking to you. That's
Okay, great,
yeah.
great. Thank you.
So, but you can do if you're familiar with A/B testing, but you could do one version with, and this one Wix allows for A/B testing, by the way. So you
Which
can have
testing? Sorry.
A/B. So A
No,
for
that's
alpha,
new
B
to
for
me.
Bravo.
AB.
A for alpha, B for Bravo. So it's basically option A is email only. Option B is the form. So you're comparing two options side by side. So they call it A/B testing.
Oh, okay, right.
But you could do, and Wix allows you to do, and then we are starting to get into complex areas of Wix, which again is great because as you grow, you will be able to do these kinds of things. But for now, Tony, I would seriously recommend steer away from those things because it is a minefield once you get there.
Okay.
But you can rest assured that when you get to the point of wanting that richness in your application, most of Wix functionality will work for you. I think that's a good assurance to have that it will grow with you. But at this stage, I think keeping it simple, make a decision. If you think, you know what, I just want to put emails, I don't want this form, no problems, get rid of it, right? But yeah, have a think about which way you want to do it. Yeah.
Okay. And now, sorry, actually, Dash, just one other thing that I've just realized that my meeting I've booked in for 4 o'clock
Yeah.
IST.
Yeah.
So I think if
No, the clocks
obviously
have moved.
I've not properly factored into the our switch back to GMT.
Okay, let's try and wrap it in for six or less than 6 minutes then. So just to bring this to a proper conclusion, and we can resume
Well,
later.
I've got a little. I mean, they're expecting the call approximately 4 p.m. IST, so we've got a couple of minutes flexibility.
Perfect.
Sorry.
So why don't we wrap it and then maybe resume on another day? But what I wanted to show you was one part is building the website, which I think you've seen pretty easily, and then making it visible to the world. The second part is managing the interaction. This is where you come into CRM. So that's the customer relationship management. And that is this part of Wix. So this is the back end, if you like. So people don't see it, but you see it. So over here, if you were to send me a message, and in the interest of time, I'll just say, oh, I did send, hey, Tony. So what you will see is in your backend, you already have, hey Tony, and it's connected that information because I filled the form. It knows that Joe Blogs is now saying, hey Tony.
Okay.
So do you see what's happened? So he filled up a form, it's logged me or this computer as Joe Blogs, and then when Joe Blogs said, hey Tony,
Yeah.
it's done that. And then you can reply back to Tony as well from here, and provide, go to edit email signature, chat. There we go. So I now say, hey, right? And then say send. At this stage on this screen, the person's screen, he's got the hey. So this is not Tony, this is your visitor, site visitor, but you are now
Yeah.
talking to the site visitor in real time. So,
Oh, in
so
real time. Wow.
yeah. So you can download the mobile app that accompanies this site, and you can then communicate with your visitors from your mobile app. So the moment somebody sends a message, it will pop up on your mobile, and you just reply back there and there, and you are having a conversation. So all this comes straight out of the box at Wix, and that's the beauty. So again, I'm very conscious of time, so I'm going to wrap over here. I think what I wanted to really do was also show you the YouTube, because you are building a lot of content right now that needs to be published.
Yeah.
Maybe do that on a separate date.
Okay. May I just ask one question, just on the Wix and the actual web pages?
Mm-hmm.
So you've got the option there for a menu.
Yeah.
And I think I have in mind, if you like, 4 or 5 key areas. So an area for teachers, an area for judges, an area for students, and perhaps a general area of information for those that might want to do something similar.
Yeah.
Can I then is there a way of navigating to us? So for each area, I might have 2, maybe 3 pages. A page of testimonials, a page of step-by-step advice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that all possible to do?
Absolutely. So what I haven't shown you is, there you go. So that's the site menu.
Yeah.
That's the home page and the shop page. Those are the 2 things we've built so far. Or the shop was just built, we didn't even click on it, but that's the shop page, and it's showing the cart is empty and all. But if you wanted to add a page, you just go and add a page and say, right, what do we want the page to be? And you can say, I want it to be maybe a testimonials thing or a Teams page. But there you go. Your Teams page is now ready. And you can add this to the menu as well, I think, or it turns up here automatically, I believe. So let me just publish it, and I think it should come through. Yeah, but basically you've got the menu so this page is the about page.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, where does it not show there? Again, we'll have to look at this. Is it hidden, or there may be some linkages? So maybe I need to drop
Okay.
it.
So there's a menu area which I can play around with and see how it works. Yeah.
Yes. Maybe this is what it is. So I need to drop a menu in there. I haven't dropped a menu, but if you see home and about is there. Now, if I publish it, if I go here and refresh it, you now have the home and the about page. And on the about page, you then go and see your team and whatever you wanted there.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So it seems to me I've learned a lot, and I've got a lot of playing to do.
Yes. Sorry, my dad's calling me, so let me just, I couldn't mute the phone there, but there you go. Yes, so there is, but again, let this not overwhelm you. There is a lot of capability here, but you don't have to use all of it. So I would, in fact, encourage. Let me stop presenting so I can see you a little. I do still struggle. I've been using Teams for so long, but there we go. So, so what I would say is don't become a software developer, Tony. Try and keep it in, which is why I'm saying think in PowerPoints.
Yeah.
Once you've thought it through in PowerPoint, replicating it in Wix is easy.
Okay.
But if you are replicating it in or starting to think in Wix, sometimes it can be, oh, but where do I get this?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, I'm more than happy to hold your hands on that, or even when you call up Wix support and say, look, this is the design I'm trying to achieve. What do you recommend? They'll say, oh, yeah, go to here, drop a menu there, and this is how you would do it. So,
Brilliant.
but do they do have a, let me see if I can find, as in it should be easy, Wix tutorial starter or something like that.
Okay, well, but to be honest, what you've just said is really, really helpful because you show me the page layout and how it works on different devices and why that center part is so important.
Yeah.
And now you've said think about it in PowerPoint first, which I'm very comfortable with
Yes.
PowerPoint.
Yes.
So actually now I'm thinking, well, I've got my structure that I broadly speaking,
Yeah.
and I can now do that if you like. I can lay that out in PowerPoint, see
Yeah.
how it looks.
Yeah.
And then hopefully when I go to Wix, yes, there'll be some pressing of buttons and
Yeah.
seeing how this works. And I might get stuck occasionally, but I'll know what I'm trying to achieve.
Absolutely, absolutely. As in, it's always good. As in, we use this whiteboard here to scribble, literally with pen and paper, or
Yeah.
digital board. But that's where it's easier on the head, on the brain to think it through. I'm conscious you're late for your meeting, Tony.
Okay. Thank you.
I hope this has helped you,
Very
Tony.
much so, Dash.
Yeah, yeah. Do give me a shout if you need any more help. I'm always there to support you. You're doing something really good, and I want to really support you with what you're
It's
doing.
really kind of you. It's really motivating to have somebody to talk to who can see the value of it. So thank you very much.
Yeah, that's the challenge with entrepreneurs. You need that little support sometimes just to get things off the ground.
You do, yeah.
You're doing something really good. You're doing really good.
That's marvelous. Thank you, Dash. Lovely to see you.
Yeah, no worries.
Bye-bye.
Cheers. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.